management. And please tell me, in your opinion, what are the differences between project management and program management?
I think this is a very important question, understanding the differences between the two. Typically the differences are at three levels. The first level is that when we talk about a program, we're talking about a number of projects that are interdependent, that they have to be managed in a coordinated way. And the idea behind coordinated way is that there are interfaces between these projects that make up the program. And if you have any problem with any one of these interfaces, the whole program will suffer. So that's why it's very important that we focus on managing those interfaces. So for example, a change in one of the projects may actually impact the program as a whole. The second major difference is the size. So I mean, in general, when we talk about programs, we're talking about a much bigger effort than an individual project. So you could have a very big project, but even like when you have a very big project, typically it's organized as a program. It's divided into different projects. And then the third one is the benefit realization. You know, the fact that with a program you have benefits that you are able to realize by integrating these projects together, by managing them in a coordinated way, whether we are talking about the contracting approach or the operating approach or the construction approach, etc. Transfers of lessons learned, you know, from one project to another. And there is also the fact that the program delivers usually an asset which has to be operated, and you want to make sure that the benefits are realized. So there is a certain period of time when actually you are measuring those benefits and comparing them against what you have promised.
Okay. Is there any key success factor?
Oh, sure.
Successful program management.
You know, from a program manager perspective, I mean, the focus becomes more on the ability to manage interfaces. You know, there are so many interfaces in a program that are much more than what you have in a project. So in a program, it is a large number of stakeholders compared to a project. In a program, we're talking about a large number of disciplines that have to be managed. In a program, we're talking about a large number of contractors and suppliers and subcontractors and different stakeholders that have different interests. So this is a very important skill, the ability to go ahead and to manage all of these interfaces. The ability to keep a solid understanding of what the scope of the program as a whole is. And that's not easy because it's wider than the project. So being able to understand the scope as a whole and being able to understand the different interfaces that make up the program in terms of projects, and if there is any kind of a change in these interfaces, you know, manage them, understanding the impact on the overall scope of the program. Being able to bring team members, you know, with different diversity, with different backgrounds, together, and ensuring that they have a common understanding of what is the program about, how does it align with the business strategy, how does it align with the organizational goals and objectives, what are the business drivers, what are the trade-offs, you know, that we can make. Usually there is an element of technology which is very challenging because many of these programs, they require, you know, technology which does not exist. So you have, you know, to go ahead and to develop it upfront. A lot of pressure from the different key stakeholders, you know, on time, on cost, delivering it fast, delivering it cheap, quality challenges. So all of these are skills that the program manager must have, in addition to the traditional, you know, skills of really understanding the schedule and understanding the scope and the cost, etc. It's all the interfaces that the program manager must manage.
Yes. Is there this possibility to use Agile to program management?
I don't believe so. I won't say. I mean, you can use whatever you want. The problem is, are you doing it efficiently and effectively? You know, it's like having a hammer in your toolbox, and you say, well, can I use a hammer to drive a nail? And the answer is absolutely. That's what the hammer is for, right? Can I use the hammer to drive a screw? Yes, you can, but it is not the appropriate tool. So I don't believe that Agile is the appropriate way for a program, the way that we understand it in terms of the complexity and the size, etc.
And in your opinion, what can the top management and PMO in the companies to support program managers?
From a top management perspective, there are a number of things. I mean, first, you need to have the processes in place. So the processes in terms of the maturity of these processes, the best practices that have to be defined, that have to be followed rigorously, that have to be continuously improved. So you need to have a repeatable process. You need to measure it. You need to improve it. There is the people, talent, and the people aspect of it. So there is the process, and there is basically the people aspect. But then there is the culture. The culture meaning, to give you an example, I mean, as a business unit leader, as a business manager, I have the right to challenge you as a program manager. I have the right to challenge you and ask you if you can do it faster or if you can do it cheaper, right? I mean, that's my role. Your role as a program manager is to go and do your homework and present me with a compelling story. If it does not make sense, if there are no options for doing it faster or cheaper, or if I have to make a change, your role as a program manager is to communicate that and make sure that it's clearly understood, by upper management. But then as upper management, I have to be open. I have to be open to these, to these suggestions. So if you present me with a compelling story, if you present me with the evidence, I'm not just simply going to brush it under the carpet and tell you, forget about it, be optimistic, and let's move forward with that. So I think this is like one of the most important behaviors is really believing that program management as a skill, as a competency, is critical for the success of such programs or initiatives in the organization. Doing front-end loading in terms of understanding the scope, in terms of having the right level of technical definition, the right level of execution planning, the key stakeholders, risk management, having a contracting strategy that really reflects the market conditions, understanding the capabilities of your contractors, understanding the interfaces that exist with them, fostering these relationships. All of this takes time. And you want to make sure that it is done before you move into execute, where you start spending very quickly big amount of money, and eventually your ability to influence the outcome diminishes.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. Sure.